Hello and welcome to VR chat today. Today I'll be making a video talking about the HTC Vive Cosmos tracking. The Cosmos is notorious for having bad tracking from all the reviews that people made of it when it initially came out and about 6 months after as well. I got to try out the Cosmos about 4 months ago. It was a while ago now, but I was talking to some people about it just the other day, and I was explaining to them how the tracking worked and everything really in depth because I'm like that. And I basically decided that I'll just make a video because there's no one really going really in depth into the tracking of the Cosmos. I don't own the headset. I only had about a 3 hour play time with it, 4 hour play time with the Cosmos, around that. So today we are in the AIM factory in VR chat, and I'm just going to be shooting stuff with my normal Pimax 5K Plus and my HTC Vive ones, but I'm going to explain along the way on how well the tracking worked. And first thing I can say about it is it's definitely not the same as Windows Mixed Reality tracking. I used Lenovo Explorer for, I don't know, 400 hours. It was my first headset. And yeah, the tracking's definitely different. So let me get into that now. Alright, so as you can see now, we are at the AIM factory, and I'm just going to be doing a few shots on this to get a base level on how good I am and then see if I can improve over time. But yeah, so the HTC Vive Cosmos, the tracking of that is definitely been bad initially. So when it first came out, it was really bad. Most people already know that, but they improved it via software updates and I don't know, just improving their tracking and whatnot over time. So it's now a lot better than what it was at launch, but it's still not perfect like what you would get with, Oculus headsets with like the Quest or Rift S. But it's definitely not trash like it was at launch. So how the tracking works on the headset is it tracks via the pattern recognition through the LED lights on the controllers. Now every other headset doesn't use pattern recognition for tracking. Everything uses... Oh, that's horrible. I've done way better than that. Everything else uses... hold on. Everything else uses just LED lights or infrared lights or something like that, and the cameras just recognize the lights around the controllers or the little dots and then tracks it via that way. The Cosmos had pattern recognition from the patterns that were being displayed on the controller via the infrared lights. Now, I'm not going to go in depth on how good pattern recognition tracking is, but I'm just going to mainly talk about the Cosmos controllers themselves. So the tracking, for example, so I played a few games. I played Arizona Sunshine, and what else did I play? Super Hot VR. I forget the other games. It was a while ago. But I remember in Arizona Sunshine, I was doing way worse than when I was on my HTC, or on my Pimax headset using HTC Vive controllers, or with my HTC Vive. I was noticing that when I was putting my arm out all the way Because what I'd like to do is I'd like to put my arm out all the way and try and get headshots on like whoever, like the zombies. And I would put my arm out and they wouldn't even be that far away. So, for example, I'm going to go back to this. Say one of those, say that ball there is the distance between me and that zombie. Normally with my HTC Vive controllers, I could just hit it, shoot, and like I'm going for headshots, and obviously it'd be smaller than the ball and whatnot, but I would be able to hit it most of the times just doing a headshot in Arizona sunshine. But when I was using the HTC Vive, no, not HTC Vive, the Cosmos controllers, I noticed that I wasn't hitting those same shots anymore. And it was really strange because I visually could not tell what was going on. And this was only for a little bit of time, though. So what I found out is when I was sticking my arm out like this, because the controller is further away from the headset, the tracking actually gets worse because the pattern's getting smaller and it's not close up to the headset. So I'd stick my arm out and go to like get a headshot or whatever, and I would miss. And when I noticed what was going wrong, I saw that the controllers were slightly drifting around. Now, I can't really emulate it properly via my real movement with the Vive controllers, but it was sort of like not really noticeable, but it was like just slightly drifting, sort of like that. And when you're trying to make those precise shots like that, it was missing. I could get better accuracy when pulling the controller up close, not too close to like obstruct the cameras and then the tracking goes really bad, but just close enough where it can see everything and it's also not too far away from the user or where the cameras are normally placed. And that is somewhat disappointing and bad. It means the controllers are very bad for shooters. And it's not just me sticking my arm out trying to like make a shot. It's also when you're trying to just use a gun in any game like Pavlov or any gun game where you require to hold a gun with 2 hands and you got to like aim down the sights like that to shoot. Those guns become very unusable because you put your arm up and you want to like look down the sights and you obstruct the controller behind your first hand or whatever, and then the tracking of this goes haywire. It goes drifting around, and you can't use it without tilting the controllers like that. So instead of straight down, you tilt. Hold on, I'm gonna have to go into a first person view for this. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. So instead of going straight down the sights, you have to like tilt it slightly so this one doesn't obstruct the first one, or the one that's further away from you, which is stupid, really. You shouldn't have to do that. That's really bad. And I can say this now. I could recommend a Cosmos to someone if it was at the right price, as long as they aren't playing shooting games, because the tracking field of view, having all those cameras on the headset was great. It was way better than Windows Mixed Reality when it comes to the tracking field of view. So I could get my controllers, I could, put my arm up and like look straight, and it would still track, and I could put my arms out to the side, like way over here, and it would still get the rough position on where the controllers are, even though they are inaccurate positions with the single cameras that are placed on both sides of the headset. Which I'm not the tracking is not better than the Oculus tracking. Even if it has more field of view, it's not better than the Oculus tracking. The Rift S or the Quest, I would say that's way better when it comes to tracking. So back to like the field of view thing. With Windows Mixed Reality, when you had the controllers, you could like just put your arm up, like just here, just above your head. It's still in your vision, the controller, and it would just lose tracking. You know, it would be like frozen in like space, and you know, you spin your hand around. Oh, crap! I didn't mean to do that. You spin your hand around, and it didn't track, and that's because the cameras were low down on the headset and facing down on an angle like that, so they couldn't actually see what's above them. And they never had like, they had pretty good field of view, but having 6 cameras, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 6 cameras on the headset versus 2 cameras is definitely better for the field of view. And I noticed that with the Windows Mixed Reality, they would lose tracking just a little bit out of your field of view. And when you brought your controllers back in, it would take a second for the controllers to realize, oh shit, this is my position now, because it's just being retracked. And you would have constant losing of tracking when you put your controllers down by your side. So if you just put your controllers down like this, it would just lock the rotation again. Now you probably get this on the Oculus headsets as well, but they're a lot better because the cameras now face down there and do get good positional tracking down there versus basically no position. And so having the field of view with the Cosmos, with the tracking, it was great being able to like just know that my hands are always being tracked, even though, you know, I can't see where they are. And it stops the fact where you try and pull your arm into vision, it has to try and like track again, because it's been tracking out in your peripheral vision the whole time. So that's definitely a plus over the Windows Mixed Reality tracking. Main issues here, which is the sticking your arm out, controllers being further away from your body gets inaccurate. It's not that bad. It gets slightly worse. And so that's one downside when it comes to the tracking, is worse tracking the further away the controller is from the headset. Another problem is the brain thinking. Obstruction. So when you got the controllers and you just simply go like this, you know, put your hand behind the other, and boom, that back controller has no chance of like being tracked properly. It starts getting really inaccurate, sort of drifting around, stuff like that. It's really bad as soon as you obstruct the controllers because of the pattern recognition. The cameras need to see the patterns. As soon as you put one pattern in front of the other, it can't tell what the hell the pattern behind that is because it's now been obstructed. So, can't do much about that. So, I could recommend the Cosmos's tracking. Not the Cosmos tracking specifically, but I could recommend a Cosmos headset. Instead of saying, you know, don't buy this headset at all. I could recommend the headset if it was at the right price, obviously, being low enough. Like, we have the Quest 2 now, and that's a way better headset than the Cosmos. Holy shit, man, that's way better than the Quest 2. But you could use it for general VR games that are like socialized games, like VR Chat is. Or you could use it for just slow-paced games like Moss. Like I said, anything that requires having a gun, you don't really want to play those types of games. And also don't want to do any sort of precise tracking with the controllers, such as what is it called, paint or something? What's it called? I forgot what it's called. But like if you're doing artwork and stuff in VR, you don't want to have it. You don't really want to use that. It'd be way better to have. So yeah, that's what I'm been trying to say is like tracking is good for simple VR use, like what people were originally saying with Windows Mixed Reality, where it was like, oh yeah, it's great tracking, but then other people would say it's terrible, the field of view is horrible, all this crap. It's one of those relationships again, where the tracking's good, as long as you're doing simple stuff. But as soon as you do anything complex, it just all falls apart. So I could recommend the Cosmos for something such as VR chat, but I would never recommend it to anyone that wants to play Pavlov or any games like Onward, probably Hyperdash. Yeah, I'm going to say Hyperdash. Any of those games. Now, this has been based off of my experience in Arizona Sunshine and just generally using it. Like all this information I've been talking about is mainly from that Arizona Sunshine experience. When I played Super Hot, the game after, it was a completely different experience. And that's why I've been saying that the tracking's good, but also bad. Is I got that good experience when playing Super Hot. I found in Super Hot, where everything is slow paced and you don't have to aim down sights or anything like that in Super Hot, and you only have one gun in one hand and another gun in another hand or something like that, and you just generally have to like quickly point and shoot, and you obviously you've got the like slow down time thing. The tracking and whatnot felt amazing because I was never losing controller tracking when moving the controllers around and whatnot, where I would have gotten that on Windows Mixed Reality. And the precision wasn't 100% required. I was actually like 95% there, where I would be with like Vive ones. Definitely not 100%. And I'm talking about when, in front of you, not trying to do any like, hey, I'm going to try and track the controller out to the side and stuff. That's not going to happen. You don't want to do this for some reason, try and like shoot people like that. But it was a little bit weird having like, I reckon the controller thing being slightly delayed from your real life hand position. But everything worked. There was no issues. There was no noticeable issues when playing Super Hot when I played it, where all those issues before, trying to like aim down sights and stuff like that, Arizona Sunshine, there was issues. I was trying to get headshots, stick my arm out. I was never really doing that in Super Hot. I was always like dodging and like quickly trying to, shoot the enemies. And yeah, that's pretty good. I didn't require accuracy that much in Super Hot. Obviously, it will be better trying to use something like the touch controllers for getting the best accuracy, or the Steam VR tracking. But it was in that game I realized that the tracking is fine as long as you don't expect much of it, which isn't really good. But yeah, that's been most of my experience / opinion explaining on how the Cosmos tracking works and how well it tracks and whatnot. So if anyone has a Cosmos and they've been using it for an extensive period of time and they actually like the headset and don't shit on it, they should realize that the tracking's good when you expect not much from it, from like not really doing shooter games, fast pace, anything. If you're just playing a slow experience, where Super Hot isn't even really slow. It's still pretty fast paced, trying to like shoot people and like dodge bullets and stuff like that. But if you're doing anything that's not having guns in VR. It's alright. It's great. You can use it. There's nothing wrong with it. But all this depends. Depends on your room. The lighting of your room, if there's like massive areas in your room where it's the control or the headset can't recognize things, or if there's light coming in and just shining onto the cameras and the cameras are not really sure what the hell's going on. It all depends. When I played it, the room was very open, had lots of different colors, and the lighting was pretty good. It was sort of dim, the room lighting, but it was fine. That it was doing great. I'm guessing I sort of hit the sweet spot where it is dim enough that the controllers really shown their position well, but then it was also bright enough where you could still see the whole room and it could still get great tracking in the room. So yeah, I had this comparison side by side with my HTC Vive. I went to my friend's house. He had the Cosmos. I took my HTC Vive, and we basically did side by side comparisons where he would try the HTC Vive, I'd try the Cosmos, and we'd go back and forth. And yeah. I believe that's everything when it comes to the Cosmos. If I remember something, I'll add it in. But I hope that helps. I really wish I could get this information better, because once I'm in VR and I'm using an avatar like this, I just can't think straight. And it's easier for me to tell people information about like these controllers and stuff like that when I am actually talking to someone and I can get a little bit of feedback. Talking to a camera is a bit weird. Not used to it. So yeah, I hope you now have a little bit of understanding or insight into what the Cosmos tracking is like. There'll be a new HTC headset coming out very soon. We had the leaks of their headset being under covers or something like that. So we'll see what tracking solution that has for the controllers. Hopefully they won't be reusing the Cosmos controllers. Maybe they switch to the HTC Vive Focus Plus controllers. Who knows? So that's been that. Thank you for watching this. I hope you understand, and goodbye.